Chapter 10. Leavetaking. When they reach the stables, they find Perrin already waiting for them. Jumping up from the straw where he sat, Lan asks him if he checked the way he told him to, and Perrin assures him that no one else is in the stable. Lan walks up to the 5 horses that stood saddled and waiting, checking everything was ready. One was the warder's black stallion, the other was Moraine's white mare, and the other 3 were the best Emmons Field had to offer. The 3 boys exchange shaky smiles, trying to appear eager to be off. Matt notices Rand's sword and, laughing, asks if he's becoming a warder or a merchant's guard, and tells him that a bow is enough of a weapon for an honest man. Rand thought of flourishing the sword, but Lan's presence stopped him, and instead says it may be useful. Perrin was trying to hide something under his cloak, and Rand spots an axe hanging from his belt and asks about it. Perrin reveals a half-moon battle axe and tells them, Master Lewin made it for a merchant's guard, but when he finished, the man wouldn't pay the agreed price, so the blacksmith kept it. He found me practicing with it and said I could keep it. Matt comments that at least one of them knows how to use a proper weapon. Lan cuts in, saying a bow is a real weapon, even if you've never used them for more than hunting. Anything can be a weapon when needed, and you need to learn that if you hope to reach Tar Valon. Perrin asks Rand if he believes Moraine, and Rand tells him, I don't know, but she was right about only our farms being attacked, and the forge and Matt's house being the first targets in the village, according to the mayor anyway when I asked him. Both boys were staring at him, and Matt points out that Rand asked the mayor when Moraine said not to tell anyone. Rand assures him he didn't reveal anything to Bran, then asks didn't they even speak to their families? They tell him they left notes for their families to find in the morning. Rand tells the pair that his father believes the Aes Sedai, at least the part about them needing to leave. Moraine appears behind them and chides Rand for speaking to Tam, but Rand tells her he couldn't leave without letting him know. She then asks Perrin and Matt if they too felt a note was insufficient and spoke to anyone. The boys rush to tell her that they only left notes. Lan tells her that the horses are ready with provisions to reach Baerlon. They can leave now. Not without me, says Egwene as she slips into the stable, a bundle in her arms, shocking everyone. Matt and Perrin babble to Moraine that they didn't tell her they were leaving. The Aes Sedai ignores them as she stares at the girl thoughtfully. Egwene assures Moraine that she has everything she needs to travel and won't miss her chance to see the world. Matt and Rand try to convince Egwene not to come, telling her that they're pursued by Trollocs. How did she know they were leaving? She tells them, I saw Matt creeping around trying not to be noticed. Then I saw Perrin trying to hide that absurd axe under his cloak. I knew Lan had bought a horse and it occurred to me he could buy more. I put it all together. Though I'm surprised to see you, Rand, after saying travel was just daydreams. Rand tries again to tell her that they must go due to the Trollocs, but she completely dismisses it. Moraine cuts off the argument, asking Egwene if anyone else knows. The girl tells her no, they're all too busy with rebuilding. To everyone's shock, Moraine says she may join them, despite Lan's objections, telling him it's part of the pattern. Lan points out there really is no reason for her to join, and Moraine says there is but won't elaborate. Lan says Egwene can ride the Gleeman's horse, so he'll leave money to buy a replacement. That will not be possible, says Tom Merrilin from the attic of the stable, and Lan drew his sword in surprise. The warder shot Perrin a dark look, and the boy admits he didn't think to check up there for anyone. Tom throws down his bags and somersaults down. He tells them, this village has no use for me anymore. While I have never performed in Tar Valon, I usually travel alone, but after last night I have no objection to company. In fact, you may say that I insist. I've given many a thought to how I may die, and a Trolloc's cookpot is not what I envisioned. Lan asks Moraine if this too is part of the pattern. She responds that everything is. They cannot pick and choose. Moraine tells the Gleeman that they must move quickly. Is he sure he wants to travel with them? Tom tells her if it's not too dangerous for the girl, then it's fine for him. The group discuss which horse Egwene could use, and Rand suggests Bella. She might not be as fast, but she's a strong mare. Rand rushes to saddle up Bella and help the girl with her bundles. They both promise to look out for one another on the journey. When he turns to mount up, he finds the only horse left is Cloud, which wasn't by chance. His friends knew full well about the horse's headstrong temperament. He'd belonged to John Fane, who used Cloud in horse races. It must have cost Lan a great deal of money to make him part with it. As they're ready to leave, the village youths jump at an owl hooting and laugh at themselves. Lan says he wishes it had been wolves, and explains that Trollocs and wolves hate each other, so the sound of wolves would mean no Trollocs in the area. As they ride through the village, they must halt several times to avoid the new militia that the villagers formed to patrol for Trollocs. As they cross the Winespring River, Rand is already hit with a pang of homesickness, then chides himself. A fine adventurer I'm turning out to be, he thought. They move toward the North Road that would eventually take them to Tarrant Ferry, and Rand spots what looks like a giant bat in the sky overhead, passing the moon. Lan asks what's keeping him, and Rand describes what he saw. "Drakkar," Lan growled, making Tom groan. They all scan the skies as Moraine tells them. It was too much to hope for otherwise. If the Murdrol has a Drakkar under his command, he'll soon know where we are if he doesn't already. We must move more quickly than we could cross-country, so now we must stick to the road. We may reach Tarrant Ferry ahead of the Fade. Then he'll be slowed, as his Trollocs won't cross as easy as we can. Egwene asks what a Drakkar is, and Tom answers, "In the age of legends, things worse than Trollocs and half-men were created." He's interrupted by Moraine saying they must go, warning them to stay together. Turning to the road, they gallop into the dark. Thanks for listening. Please like, share and subscribe and help get a new channel off the ground. Thank you.